Welcome to another practice. This practice is centered around heart openers, so we'll be working on a lot of backbends. The flow is constructed in such a way that we'll be building a lot of strength in our torso, like in our lat muscles and in our upper arms, so we can push off into a backbend, and also working on some core muscles and the front of our thighs, so basically stretching and opening the front of our thighs, which will help in deeper backbends. And we'll start the practice with shoulder flossing. So if you have a yoga mat, have it close by. If you do not have a yoga mat, you can use a belt or a towel or something that you can hold on to both ends, or you can just do arm circles. Other than that, you do not need any other props for the practice. Be grateful for the changes that you are creating in your body by taking this time for yourself. Be patient and also be consistent. Please do consider subscribing to the channel, and let's begin. We'll begin the practice with shoulder flossing. Grab your yoga strap, hold it on both ends. Make sure that you're keeping the yoga strap tight at all times. Bring it in front of you over your thighs if you're standing. Inhale here. Exhale, bring it up and over your shoulders and towards the back. Next exhale, bring it back towards the front. We'll do that for 5 exhales. Make sure that as you move up and over your head, you're still keeping the yoga strap tight. So you might want to adjust your grip. After a couple, you can approximate where you want to hold your grip so you don't bend at your elbows. Keep your arms straight the whole time. Last one. Come back to the front, and this time bring your right hand up and over your head, and left hand comes up and over your head, coming back to the front. Switch sides, left side first, right side later. Make as big a circle as you can up and over your head. So this should open up your shoulders and your lat muscles. This is a great exercise if you sit in front of a desk the whole day, or if you're driving, just in general, like to increase your mobility in your upper body. Release your yoga straps and put it onto one side. We don't need it anymore. And then come on to all fours. Like always, make sure that your palms are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Plant the tops of your feet firmly down the mat. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, round your back, push the mat away from you. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. 2 more. Drop your belly, round your back. Last one. Round your back and come back to neutral spine. Extend your right arm and left leg. Point your left foot. Next exhale, take a crunch. Elbow and knee touches underneath your chest. Exhale, bend your back, floating leg. Sweep your right arm around and tap your left heel. Come back to center. Tap your fingertips and your toe tips down. Come back to center. Extend your right hand outside of your right shoulder, left leg outside of your left hip. Come back to center and release. We'll do that 4 moves on the other side. Extend your right leg and left arm. Take a crunch underneath your chest. Release. Bend your floating leg. Sweep your left arm around. Tap your right heel and come back to center. Tap your fingertips, toe tips down, lift back up. Left arm comes on the outside of your left shoulders. Right leg comes on the outside of your right hips. Back to center and release. 2 rounds of cat and cow. Drop your belly, lift your chest. Drop your belly, lift your chest. Neutral spine. We'll take those 4 moves once more on either side, on each side. Next breath, extend your left leg, right arm, crunch underneath your chest, release, bend your left leg, sweep your right arm around, tap your left toes, come back to center, tap your right finger toes, tap your fingertips and toe tips, release, right arm outside right shoulder, left foot outside left hip, come back to center and release. On the other side, extend right leg, left arm, crunch underneath your chest, release, bend your right leg, sweep your left arm behind, tap your right foot, release back to center, tap your fingertips, toe tips down, release, left arm on the outside of your left shoulder, right foot on the outside of your right hip, and release, back to center. 2 rounds of cat and cow. Back to neutral spine. Bring your forearms down onto the mat. Your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes and lift your hips. Shift your weight forward and bring your nose to touch in between your palms. Lift back up and shift back into dolphin. Shift forward, nose step. Shift your hips up and back. Shift forward into plank. Dip your nose. Shift your hips up and back. 2 more. Shift forward, nose step. Lift back up. Last one. Shift forward, nose step. Hold your forearm plank. Bring your hips down onto the mat. Plant the tops of your feet firmly down onto the mat. Pull up on your kneecaps so your legs are engaged. Pull your chest through in between your upper arms. Hold your swings. Bring the palms to the corners of the mat. Float your elbow. Bring your belly down. Float your legs. Arms come on either side of your thighs. Next exhale. Sweep your arms all the way towards the front alongside your ears and sweep back. 4 more. Last one. And release back into your swings. Hold for 1 full cycle of breath. Tuck your toes. Lift back into dolphin. Try to work your heels towards the mat. Float your right leg, 3-legged dolphin. Switch sides, left leg. Bring your knees down, come back into all fours. Cat and cows, drop your belly, lift your chest and lift back. Push the mat away from you. Drop your belly, lift your chest, round your back, push the mat away from you. Come back to neutral spine. Bring your forearms down on the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Shift forward and tap your nose in between your palms. Lift and shift back up. Shift forward, dip your nose, lift back up. 2 more. Shift forward, dip your nose, lift back up. Last one, shift forward and hold. Bring your hips down onto the mat. Come into swings. Keep your legs active. Palms come to the corners of the mat. Float your elbows. Push the mat down. Bring your belly down. Float your legs and arms come on either side into a T. Your thumbs are facing up towards the sky. Every exhale, pulse your arm up and come back down for 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Release back into swings. Hold your swings for a breath. Tuck your toes. Lift up into a forearm plank. Bring your right palm parallel to the short edge. rotate onto the knife edge side of your right foot, open up into a side forearm plank, keep lifting your hips up. Switch sides, left forearm down, rotate onto your left knife edge side and keep lifting your hips up. Back to right forearm side plank, and this time try to float your left leg up and hold. Switch sides, left side, try to float your right leg. Release, come back to forearm plank, walk your feet towards your elbows, coming into a dolphin. Float your right leg, three-legged dolphin. Switch sides, float your left leg. Come back to dolphin, bend your knees and bring your hips towards your heels. Look towards your palms, shoot forward into plank, flow through chaturanga, upward dog. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Turn your palms towards each other, slightly inwards. Your ears are in line with your biceps. Bend at your elbows and bring the crown of your head towards the mat. Push through your palms, lift back up. 2, 3, 4, last 1, 5. Bring your palms to neutral in your downward facing dog. Float your right leg, three-legged dog. Bend your right knee and stack your hips. Bring your knee to the center. Pull it into your chest. Float forward into a tiger crunch. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Left foot plants down onto the mat. Left foot is at an angle. Cartwheel, open up into warrior 2. Make sure that your shoulders are stacked directly over your hips and your arms are out in a T. Sink into your hips, reverse your warrior. Optional to take a bind with your left hand. Keep sinking down. Bring your right palm on the inside of your right foot, side angle. Left hand can extend alongside your ears. Straighten your right leg, transition into a triangle. Optional to bring your right palm to meet your left. Reverse your triangle. Back to warrior 2. Bring your left palm on the inside of your right foot. Right hand extends up towards the sky, easy twist. Next breath, bring your right foot to come on the outside of your left hip. Open your chest up towards the sky, wild thing. Bring your gaze towards the mat. Bring your chest to square with the mat. Bring your right knee down, float your left leg, right arm. Coming into a balancing all fours and release back into all fours. Bring your forearms down and lift your hips, dolphin. Float your right leg, three-legged dolphin. Switch sides, float your left leg. Back to dolphin. Bend your knees, hips to your heels, gaze to your palms, shoot forward into plank, flow through chaturanga, upward dog. Lift up your hips, come into a downward facing dog. Bring your gaze to your palms, turn your palms slightly inwards. Make sure that your ears are in line with your biceps. You can bring your feet slightly wider if that helps. Next exhale, bend at your elbows. Bring the crown of your head towards the mat. For 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Bring your palms to neutral in your downward dog. Float your left leg, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, stack your hips. Come back to center. Bring your left foot in between your palms. Right foot is at an angle. Cartwheel your arms. Open up warrior two. Sink into your hips. Stack your shoulders directly over your elbows. Reverse your warrior. Optional to take a bind with your other hand. Bring your left palm on the inside of your left foot, side angle. Optional to float your right hand alongside your ears. Straighten your left leg. Optional to bring your left palm to touch your right, triangle. Transition, reverse triangle. Back to warrior two. Right palm on the inside of your left foot. Left hand floats up towards the sky. Easy twist. Bring your left foot on the outside of your right hip. Open your chest up towards the sky. Square your chest to the mat. Float your left hand. Bring your left knee down. Float your right foot. Balancing all fours. And release back into all fours. Bring your forearms down on the mat. Lift your hips. Dolphin. Float your right leg. Switch sides. Float your left leg. Come back to dolphin. Bring your hips towards your heels and gaze towards the palms. Shoot forward into plank. Flow through chaturanga. Hold your upward dog. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Look towards your palms. Turn them slightly inwards. Make sure that your ears are in line with your biceps. Every exhale, bend your elbows. The crown of your head reaches towards the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float your right leg, three-legged dog. Bend your right knees, stack your hips. Back to center. Plant your right foot in between your palms. Plant your left foot down at an angle. Cartwheel your arms. Open up, warrior two. Sink into your hips. Reverse your warrior. Optional to take a bind. Bring your right palm on the inside of your right foot. Transition into a side angle. Float your left hand alongside your ears. Extend your right leg, triangle. Optional for your right palm to meet your left. Reverse your triangle. This time float back to your warrior two. Bring your left palm on the inside of your right foot. Easy twist. Transition into wild thing. Open your chest up towards the sky. Square your chest to the mat. Bring your right knee down. Float your left leg. Right arm floats. Balancing all fours. Bend your left leg. Sweep your right arm around. Grab hold of your left foot. Kick into your arm and open into your chest. Release. Back into balancing all fours. Pull your left knee into chest. Cross your left foot and bring your left foot to plant on the outside of your right thigh. Sit bones come down on the mat. wrap your right hand around your left knee, take a twist. Release your twist, face the front of the mat and keep turning towards the back end of the mat. Plant both your feet, coming into Malasana. Now you are facing the back edge of the mat. You can have your palms at your chest and sink into your Malasana, or you can have your arms alongside your ears. Bring your feet parallel, shift forward, bring your knees down, make a big circle with your arms and palms come to your heels. Open up into a camel. Optional to bring your palms to support your lower back, coming into a supported camel. Release from your camel, tuck your toes, sit back into Malasana. We'll turn towards the front of the mat the same way we came around. So we'll turn in an anti-clockwise direction. So our left foot is on the outside of our right hip again, and we're back in our seated twist. Chest squares the front edge of the mat. Extend your left leg, bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Arms come alongside your ears, hinge from your hips, take a forward fold. Release your fold, come back into your seated twist. Release your twist, we'll transition back into our floating or balancing all fours with our left leg floating, right arm floats. Come back into all fours. Forearms come down onto the mat, lift up into dolphin. Float your left leg up, three-legged dolphin. Switch sides, right leg up. Come back into dolphin, bend your knees, hips come to your heels and gaze comes towards your palms. Shoot forward into plank, float through chaturanga, upward dog, hold. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Bring your gaze to your palms and rotate your palms slightly inwards. Make sure that your ears are in line with your biceps. Bend at your elbows, the crown of your head moves towards the mat. Push through the heels of your hands for 4, 3, 2, last one. Bring your palms back to neutral. Float your left leg. Open your hips. Back to center. Plant your left foot in between your palms. Plant your back foot. Cartwheel your arms. Open up warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Optional to take a bind with your right hand. Release. Bring your left palm on the inside of your left leg. Side angle. Optional to float your top arm alongside your ears. Extend your left leg. Optional to bring your left palm to meet your right. Reverse triangle. Back to warrior 2. Right palm on the inside of your left foot. Easy twist. Bring your left foot on the outside of your right hip. Open your chest up towards the sky. Square your chest to the mat. Left knee comes down. Left arm floats, right leg floats. Balancing all fours. Bring your right knee into chest, cross it over your left, sit bones come down, right foot on the outside of your left thigh, take a seated twist. Release to the center. We'll turn towards the back edge of the mat and come into Malasana. Optional to bring your arms alongside your ears. Bring your feet parallel, shift your knees down and transition into camel, or you can bring your palms to support your lower back into a supported camel. Release your camel, sit back into Malasana. Take a deep breath. We'll turn back to the front edge of the mat. Take a clockwise turn and bring your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Take a seated twist. Face the front of the mat. Extend your right leg. Bring your left foot on the inside of your right inner thigh. Arms extend alongside your ears. Fold forward. Release your forward fold and come back into your seated twist. Release your seated twist, chest faces the front of the mat, shift forward into your balancing all fours, floating your left leg and right hand. Release all fours. Bring your right knee between your hands and sink forward into a low lunge. We'll open the front of our left thigh. Keep sinking your hips down towards your right heel. If you want to take a deeper quad stretch, bring your left palm on the inside of your right foot, bend your back leg, sink your hips down, grab hold of your back foot with your right hand. Keep kicking into your palm so you can open your top shoulder up towards the sky. Keep sinking your left thigh down towards the mat. Release. Come to center. Keep your back knee bent. Work your back foot to your left elbow crease. Sink into the mat. Extend your right hand up and bind your hands behind your head. Release and shift back into half splits. Fold forward. Lift back up, back to all fours. Bring your left foot in between your palms, sink your hips down towards your heel. Optional to bring your right palm on the inside of your left foot, bend your back knee and deepen your quad stretch. Release your quad stretch. Keep your back leg bent. Grab hold of your right foot with your right hand. Work your right foot into your elbow crease and bind your palms behind your head. Release. Shift your hips back. Take a half splits. Fold forward. Lift back up, back to all fours. Cross your legs. Come into a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet to touch in front of you. And stay upright in your butterfly, or you can Hinge from your hips and fold forward. Release your butterfly. Hug your knees in. Plant your feet down onto the mat. Make sure that they are in line with your hips. Plant your palms behind you, so your fingertips are facing your glutes. And adjust your stance. Engage your core. Lift up into a reverse tabletop. Release back down. Come all the way down onto the mat. Take a bridge by bringing your heels in line with your glutes. Engage your lower abs, tuck your tailbone, squeeze your glutes and exhale, push your hips up. And you can continue to stay here if this is enough for today, or you can bring your palms on the outside of your ears and press into your palms and lift up into full wheel. And release down onto the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll from side to side and release into shavasana. You can have your feet down on the mat, legs bent, or you can extend your legs. After all this back bending, I like to hold my opposite elbows above over my head. It feels nice to stretch my lat muscles, but that's completely optional too. Take a few breaths in your shavasana.